Right now, on To the Point. Showdown in Congress.
This is about decency. This is about humanity.
But the way to do that is not to shut down the government.
The update on a deal to avert a partial government shutdown. Another Democrat officially joins the race for California governor. A closer look at the Bay Area mayor aiming to succeed Gavin Newsom.
It obviously represents one of the largest gifts we've ever received.
Sacramento State gets a $50 million boost to bring students downtown. In our Champions of Hope,
I want them to know that they're supported.
The high school principal building a culture of kindness. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on To the Point. I'm Becca Habiger. We start with breaking news. Sacramento police are on the scene investigating a shooting involving police. It happened while they responded to a reported bank robbery. Police say all officers are okay. This is on Response Road near the Arden Fair Mall. Roads are closed in the area. We have a crew at the scene, and we'll have the latest tonight on Late News Tonight at 11. Well, tonight, another partial government shutdown is possible just months after we had a 43-day shutdown, the longest in U.S. history. The sticking point this time is over the funding of the Department of Homeland Security. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen is here with an update tonight.
Becca, tonight we are learning of a potential deal to stop a shutdown for now. Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says this deal will separate funding for the Department of Homeland Security from their overall spending package. DHS funding will be decided at a later time. Democrats in Congress have refused to pass funding for Homeland Security as it ramps up its immigration enforcement operations. But Republicans say failing to pass this legislation would hurt working Americans. Here's what happened earlier today.
The motion is not agreed to.
In a 45-55 vote, the U.S. Senate failed to pass the Consolidated Appropriations Act that would keep the government funded and open. It was a package of bills that included funding to the Department of Homeland Security and includes more than $10 billion to ICE as immigration operations continue throughout the country.
Do what our constituents expect of us, which is to keep the government funded, while then also continuing to have oversight and bipartisan reforms when it comes to the best way to conduct immigration enforcement.
Republican Congressman Kevin Kiley says the House of Representatives recently passed this version of the funding package.
Funding for things like body cameras and for training for immigration enforcement in terms of how they interact with the public. Those are all things that were negotiated and that are part of the bill.
But a majority of congressional Democrats still voted against the bill, refusing to provide any additional funding to DHS, ICE, and CBP.
Republican colleagues here have applauded the administration and chosen to give the Department of Homeland Security billions more dollars.
On Wednesday, Democratic Senator Alex Padilla criticized the ongoing immigration operations after 2 people were killed in Minnesota. Ahead of voting no on the budget bill, Padilla called for more oversight and reforms on the Department of Homeland Security.
I support imposing serious reforms, real oversight, and accountability on ICE and CBP before this body provides them any more taxpayer dollars.
Again, an agreement made tonight will separate the funding for the Department of Homeland Security from their overall spending package. DHS funding will be decided at a later time. But if no agreement is made on DHS funding, a possible shutdown is still possible. Agencies like TSA could still be impacted just months after going without pay during the country's longest shutdown, lasting 43 days, Becca.
Jeannie, thank you so much. Well, for the first time, Democratic Congressman Josh Harder toured Stockton's ICE field office today. Harder's office called it an oversight visit. It lasted about an hour, after which Harder held a press conference where he said the tour left him with more questions than answers.
Tough, abhorrent conditions. And the fact that you're holding somebody in a cell this long with nothing except a toilet for 72 hours or more is a real concern. It's a violation of people's basic human rights.
Harder said beyond conditions, his biggest concern is policy coming out of Washington. The visit came just a week after Harder voted with his party against a bill to fund the Department of Homeland Security. During the press conference today, he called on DHS Secretary Kristi Noem to resign or be impeached. Well, an update now on the race to replace Gavin Newsom as governor of California. San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan has officially entered the race. He is the 9th Democrat to announce a run alongside 2 Republicans. Now, despite the crowded candidate field, there is not yet a clear front-runner in the race. Mahan is known as a moderate Democrat to the right of other more liberal Democratic opponents. In his campaign launch at an interim housing site in San Jose, Mahan highlighted his accomplishments as mayor of a big city, like reducing unsheltered homelessness and constructing thousands of new homes.
Things we have to do in Sacramento, from embracing recovery housing and really getting serious about dealing with untreated addiction, to making sure that our homelessness funding is consistent and competitive, and that we're holding local governments accountable for using those dollars well.
Mahan, who has often criticized Newsom, especially over homelessness and public safety, says he will build off what Newsom has started and actually deliver the promised outcomes. And the top 2 vote getters in the June primary election, regardless of party, will advance to the November general election. A former Capitol Public Radio executive is now facing embezzlement charges. The Sacramento County District Attorney's Office is charging the former general manager and chief financial officer of Capitol Public Radio with multiple felony counts of embezzlement, grand theft, and forgery in connection with overseeing the nonprofit's financial operations. They say Thaddeus June Reyna Jr. diverted funds for personal use between 2016 and 2020, totaling about $1.3 million. They say the money was used for luxury international travel, high-end home renovations, tuition, and other personal expenses. In a statement tonight, Capitol Public Radio says, quote, "This is a full circle moment for Cap Radio, for our supporters, and for the community that stood by us. After 2 years of restoring trust, strengthening our finances, and ensuring accountability for past wrongs, today's criminal charges are an affirmation of our relentless pursuit of the truth under new leadership. We are grateful for the diligence of local law enforcement and for the loyalty and true goodness of the Sacramento community." Well, new details tonight in the revocation process for Highlands Community Charter and Technical Schools. It follows a state audit and years-long ABC 10 investigation that found uncredentialed teachers, unapproved campuses, and taxpayer money spent on luxury trips and gifts. Tomorrow, the Twin Rivers Unified School District will hold a special board meeting to discuss next steps in the revocation process. This week, the Board of Trustees voted to revoke the charter for the adult school. Highlands now has 30 days to appeal and say they will. In a statement, Highlands said the board, quote, defied a staff recommendation to uphold the charter after their team concluded Highlands had submitted ample evidence that every alleged violation of the charter had been fully cured. Twin Rivers Unified shared in a statement, quote, while the charter schools have taken steps to address compliance issues, the board determined those efforts are not sufficient to provide the long-term stability students and the community deserve. ABC 10 will be at tomorrow's meeting and bring you the latest. And you can watch the entire investigative series about Highlands Charter School, the Wild West of Education, right now on the free ABC 10 TV streaming app. Still ahead on To The Point, a major tech company makes a historic investment to bring a new Sacramento State campus to downtown Sacramento. And a high school principal is getting high marks for her leadership, kindness, and sharing moments from campus life.
Morning fog and afternoon sun. You've probably heard me say this a lot lately. This copy and paste weather pattern continues tomorrow and into the weekend. I've got a full look at the forecast after the break.
But first, in other headlines tonight, a Minnesota man is charged with trying to break Luigi Mangione out of jail by impersonating an FBI agent. Law enforcement says 36-year-old Mark Anderson claimed to be a federal agent with a court order to release Mangione. Prison officials asked him for his credentials, but the man showed them his driver's license and threw the paperwork at them. Mangione pleaded not guilty to murder charges related to the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. A massive food recall by the FDA tonight of a number of popular food items, including Skittles, Cheerios, Heinz ketchup, and even pet food. Gold Star Distribution says the FDA determined its Minneapolis center was operating under unsanitary conditions. The products were sold in Indiana, Minnesota, and North Dakota. No illnesses have been reported. Amazon says it's laying off 16,000 employees. In a message to staff, Amazon said the cuts are aimed at reducing layers, increasing ownership, and removing bureaucracy. The cuts follow 14,000 others in October. Amazon says it will continue to adjust staffing as needed. That includes with potential hires in other strategic areas. ABC 10 meteorologist Brendan Minchef joins us now. Brendan, some really thick fog once again this morning.
Yeah, and then it cleared and we got some sunshine. So this pattern where it's foggy in the morning, especially with that dense fog, and then we get that fog lifting and some sunshine, that's going to linger through the weekend and into next week. Made it to 62 today under sunny skies, 63 in Stockton, 61 down in Modesto, 60 in Jackson, 52 in Truckee, 46 in South Lake Tahoe. And those temperatures in the valley, about 5 degrees warmer than normal. Right now, temps in those low to mid 50s in the valley, 36 in Truckee, 36 up in Tahoe, and looking towards the capital city, 54 degrees. Clear skies for now, but the lack of wind is really going to allow that fog to form. This pattern's just not changing. We continue to sit under high pressure, and this is why we have this rinse and repeat setup with our weather. So temps falling through the 40s tonight. Friday morning starts off near 40 degrees with dense fog. And look, it's going to be patchy. Some areas are going to see really dense fog. Other places may not see fog that is quite as dense. Nonetheless, there is a dense fog advisory across the valley and delta until noon tomorrow because of that fog that's coming back. 60 in Colusa, 60 in Marysville, 59 in Sacramento, 60 in Elk Grove, 59 in Stockton, 60 in Modesto, mid 60s, even some upper 60s in parts of the foothills, 54 in Truckee, 52 in South Lake Tahoe. But again, this pattern is really not changing because high pressure continues to keep the storm door closed even as we go into the start of February. So I don't have any rain or snow chances in the near future. In fact, very likely warmer through the first several days of February and likely drier as well. Now, the average last day with an inch of rain in Sacramento is March 3rd. The average last day with half an inch of rain is April 15th. So we are not at the end of our rainy season by any stretch. However, the next 10 days do look pretty dry.
Brendan, thank you so much. Well, coming up, ABC 10's Chris Thomas joins us to talk about his one-on-one interview with Sac State President Luke Wood and plans for the new downtown campus, thanks to a large donation. Sacramento State University is getting a big financial boost. Today, Governor Gavin Newsom and Facebook parent company Meta announced a $50 million investment to redevelop underused state-owned buildings into a mixed-use district for Sac State. ABC 10's Chris Thomas sat down with Sac State's president about this landmark announcement.
We'll be next door to the state capitol, and it'll be a way for us to bring students to learn, but also to live. And so a big piece of this is being able to provide housing that's going to benefit students, but also being able to provide learning opportunities that's going to benefit the region.
I'm sitting down with Sacramento State President Dr. Luke Wood as he announces an historic multi-million-dollar investment in developing a new downtown Sac State campus on the site of the former Employment Development Department headquarters.
I mean, this is one of the largest investments in this region and certainly in a downtown core. And for Sacramento State, it obviously represents one of the largest gifts we've ever received, if not the largest. Ever.
Dr. Wood says it's thanks to a pretty well-known investor.
So essentially, we are very happy that Meta, led by Mark Zuckerberg and a number of amazing people at that organization, are essentially doing a catalyst funding opportunity to Sacramento State through DGS, the Department of General Services. And it is $50 million. The big piece of this is not just that these dollars are coming, but it's who it's coming from. That sends, I think, a message to this community that what we're going to do is we're going to transform the downtown area.
That $50 million will help bring the new downtown Sac State campus to the Capitol Mall. And Dr. Wood says that's no coincidence.
We have the SAC Semester program where students come from across the California State University, all 23 campuses, to study at Sacramento State and then to also work at the state capitol. And then we have what's called the Capitol Fellows Program. Now, with a future house next door, and when I say next door, I mean literally right across the street from the state capitol. And so it's an opportunity for our students to be able to engage in experiential learning.
ABC 10 anchor Chris Thomas joins us now. And Chris, this is very exciting, but we should point out it's still all very much in the early stages.
Yeah, they're still doing things like the master planning, things of that nature. I should point out, though, they do have plans for a news conference tomorrow morning on the Capitol Mall, and we expect to learn a little bit more about the project then.
Yeah, oh, that's exciting. And I think the big takeaway, of course, is that this is just an attempt to revitalize the downtown area, especially that Capitol Mall corridor.
Yeah, you think about it. If you've got things like student housing and hotels right there on the Capitol Mall, wouldn't those students just love to maybe go over to a concert over at Golden One Center or go out to one of the restaurants or things of that nature? And they also have plans for performing arts and music venue as well. And so it is indeed an exciting time for the capital city and for local businesses as well.
Absolutely. We'll be there tomorrow to bring you the latest on this development. Chris, thank you so much. Well, next on To The Point, this week's champion of hope, a high school principal with a unique strategy for reaching her students. Students call her inspiring. Teachers call her supportive. Tonight in our Champions of Hope, ABC 10 anchor Alex Bell introduces us to a Roseville High School principal whose leadership is helping shape not just a campus, but also the people inside it.
So we have a greenhouse on our campus.
Principal Ashley Sarin
So this is flag football for elementary school.
is no stranger to social media.
The kids are making fresh squeezed lemonade. Best lemonade I'd ever had in my life.
Amazing our youth are. We have students on this campus.
But behind her social media is something deeper.
Dude, I love our school. I love my job. My kids are amazing.
It's really easy to love your job when you work somewhere that's as fantastic as Roseville High School is.
Do you see them? They're all like avoiding me now.
Being a principal isn't just her job.
What's up, Peter?
It's her calling.
What's really incredible is I came in as a new person. A lot of people that come to Roseville are generational. They've been here, 25 years working at Roseville High.
We found some of those tenured teachers who have been at the school over 25 years.
Principal Sarin has amazing energy. That's the first thing I think most everybody recognizes about her.
Who told us Principal Sarin has made campus a place where staff feel
we really lift each other up. And so having that support from your principal, as if they are a family member and that they really care for you as a human being before the teaching and everything.
Her social media showing what's happening in the hallways of Roseville High School.
And yet I hear this narrative out there that Gen Z is whatever negative thing you want to say. I want them to know that they're supported, and I want other people to understand how amazing this generation is.
Her students have also seen the videos, but we asked what their principal is really like offline.
She's always rocking those bell bottoms, man.
She always
rocking those bell bottoms.
Her hair is like, it's styled, but it's still healthy. Like, it's styled every day, but it still looks
But more than her hair and bell bottoms, these seniors told us.
She's supportive of everybody, no matter who they are, as someone who's so busy and so involved that she truly does make time for her students.
Something that I've learned from her is that as much as this school, like book smart and how learning things in school is important, at the end of the day, who you are as a person, and that's what matters. She's honestly making peacemakers, she's making loving people, and that's way farther than any sort of schooling can take you.
As a former teacher, Principal Sarin says it's important that she never loses that connection with students, even recalling how a few wrote her a letter.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry. Hold on, I don't want to cry.
Sharing the impact that she's had on them.
And I'm still able to make that positive impact on the people that matter the most is our students here on campus.
Why did that make you emotional?
Because that's why I do what I do. I want to make a difference, and I want to make an impact, and I want to be positive. And so it was almost like look, it's working. Like, you are, so.
Making a difference in someone's life is a gift many of us hope to give one day, just like Principal Sarin.
And I think everything she touches, I am going to get emotional, is helping us thrive. And education is such a challenging profession right now. It has been for years.
What makes you emotional about that?
Because we have such a hard job, and knowing that you have somebody that has your back, these are positive tears because there's just a lot of hard days.
And I appreciate everything she has done for me and my family. I had gone through some health issues, and she was right there. What do you need?
Because she's truly a change maker, and not because of policy, but because of who she is and what she does.
Who's winning? I want to try.
She tries everything, and it inspires students and other people to do that too.
Yes!
Miss Sarens, don't change a thing.
Thank you.
Having a leader like that, like Mrs. Saren, it changes not only how you view school, but who you are as a person. Your personality is genuinely so beautiful, and we can't thank you enough.
Oh, that's so sweet. You can hear the respect and love and admiration in each of those interviews. Well, thank you so much for watching and inviting us into your home. If you have something you think we should be looking into, or you have a champion of hope you want to nominate, please reach out to the team. You can email us at tothepoint@abc10.com. And our show doesn't end here. To watch stories featured on the show, download our free ABC 10 streaming app to your TV. Have a great and safe night.